everybody, Tate Morris, Hometown Realty. I want to talk about an extremely important topic that has recently just come up. We're going to get right back into the, real estate safety tips, anything like that. But we're talking about designated and dual agency. What are they? Why does it matter? Why do I even care? How can I combat this? That's what we're here to talk about. So whether you're a buyer or seller, please pay attention because this all revolves around representation. So let's get into it. Designated agency. This is a good thing, okay? Designated agency means that, for me specific, Hometown Realty represents both the sellers and buyers. So you might be going, so Tate, does that mean that you represent the seller and the buyer? No, that is dual agency. What I'm saying is I represent you as the seller. Another agent from Hometown Realty represents the buyers. You're just consenting that Hometown can basically facilitate both transactions. But Hometown will do nothing in terms of the negotiating, the contracts, nothing to that matter. It just goes more to like the paperwork up. But we still have to get your consent to do so. And I tell people, if you don't consent to it, you're eliminating hundreds of other agents from bringing a buyer that might be paying top value for your home. So it has nothing to do with that. I highly recommend designated agency. Dual agency though, I will tell you, for me professionally, I always will not consent for it for you because it's all about best intentions. So dual agency means that I, as Tate Morris, would represent both the sellers and the buyers. So you're going like, is that even legal? It is. You just have to get it in writing that you as the seller or you as the buyer are okay with me representing both parties, okay? But it just falls down into that gray area of at what point do you see yourself as neutral? Because you have to be neutral. But then you sit there and you're like, but aren't I paying you, big bucks to give me your professional opinion? You are. That's where it gets tricky. Because if I tilt one way, I could get sued. If I tilt the other way, I could get sued. Why would I put myself in that situation ahead of time just to be a neutral factor? It just doesn't make sense to me. So hit it right in the butt before it even begins by saying I don't consent to it. So let's say you're in that situation. The agent did not explain what designated dual agency is. Maybe their contract doesn't explain it well. They just have it in a separate addendum. Make sure that you are not getting scammed out of this. They have to tell you they are representing both parties. You can say, I don't consent because I want you to represent me. That's what I hired you for. If they have a problem with it, kick them to the curb. Tell them like, hey, look, I respected you at first, but this is not how this is going to work. Put your foot down. So I highly recommend doing so. If you have any other questions of it, and it gets to a part where it's like a legal matter, anything, of course, consult an attorney. I'm no legal expert in it, but I can tell you that we have to get your signature on this. The only time I ever sit there and I go like, okay, dual agency is probably okay, would be if you came to me and you're like, Tate, I want to sell my house. So-and-so, my friend wants to buy the house. We just don't know how to facilitate it, how to get everything, up in orders. But we know, we're going to do these fixes on it. We're going to do this, this, and this to get the house ready. And they're okay with that. In that essence, okay, I can be a neutral party, get everything set up, situated, good to go, okay? Other than that, if I'm looking for your actual buyers, I can't. So then you go, Tate, well, you said as a buyer, I should be aware of this. Right. So you go to an open house and you walk in, the person is like, hey, I'm the listing agent, welcome, take a look around. And you go, I really like this house, I want to buy it. And they go, perfect, let's write a contract. So you go, hey, you said you were the listing agent, correct? Yeah. So would you be representing both parties? Yeah. Like, I don't feel comfortable in that. I want you to find me an agent so that you can represent the sellers, I can be represented with a buyer agent, okay? Again, it's just hard to get your opinion because you would have to come with the knowledge. That's the only way to stay neutral in that situation is you as the buyer or you as the seller would have to come with the knowledge ahead of time. But again, then you'd be saying, why am I hiring an agent to do this work when I know ahead of time? It's a balancing act. So guys, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. If you've ever been in this situation, I'd love to hear about it because again, most of the time when I hear people are like, I hated it. I felt very backstabbed, so to say. So I'd love to hear your situation. Again, whether it's good, bad, again, let me know, whatever you're comfortable with telling me. And if there's any way that I can help, please let me know. I'll see y'all next week.
wanna sleep in, cause I got something